Alright, today I'm going to go over my gaming machine and the different components that are in it, and I'm also going to make some modifications to the cooling tubes in the machine and demonstrate the no-spill connectors that I have in it. Alright, what I'm going to do today is modify this right here by putting in this. So it goes like this, changing this connector out, getting this tube to go around it better than it is right now. Just makes it a little cleaner. You can see I can isolate each part of the machine. For instance, I'm going to isolate this loop here by doing this. See, there's absolutely no leakage on these connectors. Same here. Oop, just a teeny bit there, but not enough to cause any problems. So now I have this loop isolated, and I can drain this loop, which I want to change this connector and this tubing here out. And I do that. I've made, let me get these over here. I've made these drain pipes that I just can connect just about any way I want to drain a loop. So I start by, I need a connector that's of this type for this part of the loop. So I plug it in right there. Let's see, I take this empty bottle for my coolant. Then I get a tube with female for the male here. Slip her on, take my tube, stick it in, and just let the water drain out. There we go. I had to do this with one hand. Well, let's take this tube out of here and disconnect. I'm going the wrong way. Disconnect this tube. Disconnect this tube. So you can see I effectively drained this loop here, and all the other loops are still full. CPU loop is still full. The tube going out to the cooler is still full. So very little drainage I had to do to change this fitting here. So the next thing I'm going to do is take this off and put this fitting on. Alright, I'm going to have to also drain this loop because I'm going to change the fitting on here, which goes to the cooler from right here. This time goes through the machine to the outside. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did with this loop here. First connect, in this case, the male goes here. Stick it up like that. Ooh. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is get the male connector here. Why isn't that pushing on? Should push on. There we go. Now I'm going to, whoop, yeah, boy, this should be a neat it should be an operation where you don't spill anything. And I'm not doing a very good job of it right today. All right, so now I'm going to take this part off here. This tube might be some liquid pooling there, but okay, move this tube. We're going to also take off this fitting because this will screw right into where that port is. So I will get my wrench, which is over here. Call this a gas fire. So I can just, doesn't take much to turn it off. There we go. A little bit of leakage because it's still some in the graphics card there. Not enough to spill all over the place. All right, so you see that still wants to leak out of there. So now oops. Let's get this started here. And there we go. So you can see this can be just about turned into any angle that you want, but in this case I want it to go that way. So just unplug, take that off. Now take this particular angled plug off, and I think I'm going to use that like so. Let's see how this looks with just using it. No, that's not going to do it. I want to change this also. So I have a new piece of tubing here. Set a new piece of tubing through there. I'm going to run it through the back side of this. And they're going to run it over to here. So now we're going to use this female fitting here. And that's a matter of, let me pull this out a little bit so I can make sure that you get your compression nut on there. Okay, we're going to just take this needle nose here, and we'll go and we'll open up this end of the tubing like so. Open the tubing up like so we can more easily get this guy in there. There we go. Okay, we just work that guy down there. I'm using 3/8 tubing, not 1/2 inch. The difference in flow rate is almost nil. So the need for having a 1/2 inch. You don't really need it for a system like this. Okay, that's twisted on there good. Now we'll just put our compression nut on there. Okay, let's pull this back out a little bit. There we go. Now the reason I had to do it this way is because, well, for one, the power supply down here interferes with this bottom loop here. So this is the easiest and best looking way to do it. And now I have to go out here and set up, I have to set up the tank tube, or where the reservoir tube, reservoir and radiator tube. I have to set it up so that we can refill the system. And here we go with as far as the, there we go, we hook this back up. You can see water flowing out of this back into there. But we have so much water, there's so much water in the reservoir that there's no problem as far as when we start up to refill it. Okay, here we have the tank reservoir set up, and what I'm going to do here is measure. Let me turn this a little bit down. Right, measure the length that I want. There's 2 compression, so I want to cut it right about there. I'm just going to take my scissors, makes a straight cut. Make sure that that's a little not quite straight. So I'm just going to nip. There we go. Get it straight. And I'm going to kind of remount this end here with the needle nose again. Even when I do that, these things are a pretty tight fit. Okay. Remember to put your compression nut on there. And I'm going to, there we go. You can see even with it reaming it out a little bit, it goes on there hard, and we put the compression fitting on there, and we just tighten it down, and we essentially have it hooked up. Now what we're going to do next is refill the loop and purge any air that's in the system out. Alright, what I've done is jumper the power, main power going in, the 24-pin connector, the green and the black wire. This will just run the fans and power up the drives, but that's not important. The system board doesn't come up. And when I power it up, it will pump the reservoirs full. I mean, take water from the reservoir and pump it into the system. What you see here is a huge reservoir tank back here. I'll turn it just slightly so you can see where the pump is located at the bottom. And then we have a 4-fan radiator. It's a thick copper radiator. And so right now what I'm going to do, you can kind of watch the level drop here and go back in. I don't have to worry about pump going dry or anything, so I can top it off when I'm finished putting the fluid back in the system. Oop. Okay, should power up now. There we go. You'll notice the tube start filling and hear the pump push the water through. And you see this tank is dropping in supply. You see the air bubbles being pushed out of the system. And you see how much it's dropped in level. So I'll just let it run for a little bit here and let the air bubbles get purged out of the system. Right now the fans on here are set at about 40% because it's summertime, and the room gets quite warm that this machine sits in because there's another computer in there too. This one doesn't run all the time, but when it does, it needs to be cooled. So right now they're set at 40%, and then the internal fans are set on high. I have a separate switch that controls that. But this is all controlled through software through this controller board down here, which I have to build a cage for. I haven't done that yet. And originally this was designed to go inside the machine, but I didn't want it in there. I wanted, because there's so many wires that have to run to it, I wanted to have the reservoir and the fans and the controller all external to the machine, so that when I disconnected it, I just had these loops to deal with. Didn't have to disconnect any sensors. Here's a temperature sensor for inlet temperature, and this is temperature and flow meter. On this side, this is water coming in, the temperature of it, water going out. So all the sensors and flow meters are set onto the outside there, and then the board itself is plugged into the back of the machine through this USB connector. And then this connector is plugged to the board for automatic shutdown. If the board senses things are getting too hot, it automatically shuts the machine down. Okay, so you'll see that this is a much cleaner setup. It's not going to the front, it's just I got to run it through the back there, and looks good. All right, also we'll note here that this is a 90-degree multiple angled coupler, and it allows me to get above this power supply here. You'll notice it just screws right into the graphics card. Here we have a 2-space metal pipe, which I like. And then we go into the CPU. CPU has the same, let me grab just one to demonstrate. This is a angled one that I was using on there, but the straight ones are the same, only straight. And you'll see that you basically just press it right on. Now these fittings aren't particularly a new idea, but for this this particular design and for its purpose, they're great to have, because there's maybe a couple drops at the most in there. Nothing gets spilled in your system when you take it apart to do maintenance on it. So they're great. I like them. They don't leak. They're just great pieces. I have two water-cooled machines. The other one is my backup game machine. Its radiator is mounted on the back of the case. It's a little different configuration than this one. It's a 3-fan. It has 580s where these are 780s in here. This is a 1200 watt Thermaltake power supply. Tilt this down just a bit. You can see this board a little bit better. More than adequate. This is the Gold series, so it's really efficient. You'll note that inside here we have 32 gig of Vengeance memory, and this is a 3930K. Great processor. I mean, it's just runs things just great. Okay, so you can see already, or at least I can see that the air has been purged out of the system already. Let me power it down once here. Okay, then I'm just going to take the fluid that came out of it. Get the refill cap here. And put it right back in. Okay, you'll note that I don't fill this all the way up. You want to leave some room for air to escape. You can never quite get it all out of there, and plus if you have it completely full, then you may, at startup, you may have too much pressure and have a blowout, so don't fill it completely full. And most of these fittings are finger tightened because they don't need to be more than that. All right, so now let's turn it on one more time. Yeah, see a little bit of it right there. A little bit more air coming out of it there. You'll know it's probably difficult for you to see, but I can see a lot of air bubbles coming up and percolating to the top. So kind of tapping the tubing helps the air bubbles to break loose and that are caught in the tubing. See, it's pretty well. You'll also note in the way this is set up that your flow is downward. Okay, so it makes it much easier on the whole system. If it flows downward, it flows down to the reservoirs at the bottom, and it's pumped in and then right back out. But you have a large reservoir of fluid here. You don't have to have this big a reservoir of fluid, but I do for the reasons that I just showed you. I don't have to worry about if I drain this whole system out here, which I almost did, other than this tube here. I can just suck it down. I don't have to worry about the pump getting running dry on me or anything like that. It just does what it's supposed to do. All right, here's an instance where you want to use the key on a computer because the drives are externally accessed. I just unlocked it and I push in the I unlocked it. pushing the button on the side here. There we have 3 terabyte drive. This is my file backup drive, and then this drive down here is the boot drive. It's a Velociraptor 600. Nice fast little drive. And then I have 2 more drive positions where I can add more drives if I want to, or put a drive in there I want to copy files to, or clone a drive, or whatever I want to do. I can use these because these are hot swappable. They're all hot swappable. So I had the E drive here fail on me, 3 terabyte drive, and it's the back of the D drive, which has all my files on it. So we have your file drive here, and then your backup to the file drive, and then this drive has an image on this drive, which is backed up to this drive. So if this fails, I just need to put my recovery thumb drive in, and put in a new drive, and boom, I got it the same as I was before. Okay. Other things, I have an LG Blu-ray drive in it. I don't need it, but if I ever want to, for some reason, throw in a DVD because, well, maybe my grandkids are here or something, and I want to watch a movie, and they're watching it on the big screen, I can just throw it in here and I can look at it. All these fittings and all the water cooling stuff is Coolants, and since I started using them, they've come a long ways as far as making more reliable fittings and things. And their 360 cooler is just, CPU cooler is just great. I mean, I can't say enough about it. This Thermaltake Level 10 GTX. Love this case. You can see it's got plenty of room in it. It can probably get a little tight down here if you have a third card in it, but I started out using 3 cards with the 8800s, and I just didn't see enough bang for the buck with the third card. 2 cards pretty much gives you everything you need. Every once in a while you want to take the system down and blow the dust out of it, clean the filters, make sure everything is, there's no leakage of any kind. It's highly unlikely that it would ever leak, but sometimes seals can go bad, like on even graphics card, like on the GTX graphics card that I got. The internal seals went on it. You can see them start bleeding out the edges. Had to replace the seals or the O-rings. These, I doubt very much that's going to happen. These are quite a few years later than the ones that I had. So that's pretty much the system, and we'll take it in after I get it all back together. We'll take it back onto the my gaming table, which is something that I designed and patented, and we'll hook it up and take a look at the display that's hooked up to it. It's an Acer 27-inch. It's a pretty nice display. Okay, for now, let me get this back together. Here you see the reservoir and fans and the controller ready to get plugged into the system once I move it into place. And note how convenient it is to just have it like that in case I want to take the system out and replace a fan or whatever. I don't have to leave the whole water system so isolated. The fans come up high and then immediately go back down. You'll see it doesn't take it very long at all after the first beep for the display to come up. This is still hardware. Initialization, that's the BIOS looking at it. The actual operating system time, very short. The reason it took as long as it did now was because I had it unplugged and I had the power connector off the system board. Okay, that's my lock screen. The mouse I'm using is a G700S wireless Logitech mouse. It's a great little mouse. It just works great. This is a simple Logitech keyboard, and I have a gaming pad, a Sniper gaming pad that I use for gaming. And of course, over here you can see my racing steering wheel. And I have a not so great set of Logitech speakers. If I really want to hear a good sound, I have the G35 935 headset, wireless headset, and they work great. A good microphone on it. Okay. Now this is a 27-inch Acer 3D ready, NVIDIA 3D ready display. It's just a lock screen here. I'll take it away. This is the, oops, gotta turn the mouse on. This is for the water controller. If I open that up, you see it'll be telling me the temperature, the inlet and outlet temperature, which is around 30 degrees right now. And then also gives me the temperature on the sensors. So it's saying 30 C. The fans are running, if I go up here, they're running at 40%. It's a notable difference. In the wintertime I'm running them at 20%. Now if it really gets warm like it's been today in the 90s, I'm going to crank the fact is I should crank it up right now because I can feel it's warm in here already. Give it 50%. You hear the fans come up a little more. I'm going to turn the internal fans on high. Alright, so, and here is AIDA64 program that I monitor the temperatures on my processors, the system board temperatures, the PCH temperature, the VC CSA temperature, the graphics card temperature. Right now they're at 28, 26 C. You can tell by the icons on the desktop that they're all mostly just games on here. This Origins thing I don't need to be looking at. Here's my AIDA64 Extreme program where I can look at everything I need to know about the system on here. Go up, make this bigger, let's say computer summary. It'll tell me manufacturer, the timing of the memory, just everything that you could possibly want to know about your system, you can see using this program. It's very helpful. It's well worth the money. It wasn't even that expensive. And it also provides this monitoring display here, temperature. Also, you can see this is the CPU in megahertz. So it's right now it's at idle, and when it needs to, it jumps up to 4,500, 4.5 gigahertz. So yeah, this is 1.5 gigahertz now. I have several test bench programs here to test the system. The 3D works great. I also have a Logitech 610 webcam up there. So that's pretty much my gaming system, and there's nothing I can't run on it at full max and just crush it even at 120 hertz, even with 3D enabled. It just works, and it's going to work for a good long time. It's probably going to become, the innards of this will probably become the backup machine innards when I jump to the X99 type, but that's going to be a while. It's going to be like another year or so. But I'm not worried. I could go for 5 years on this and still be okay. So I'm not worried at all. Anyhow, that's my system, and I hope you like seeing it. And see you later.